Hello again, everyone. Thank you for tuning in and thank you for watching this week. I'm going to go across statistics from February for the entire country. I pretty much have every place, so you should see your region in the numbers this week. But first, I want to talk about this guy. This was in the news a month or so ago. Mike Holmes approved homes demolished due to alleged defects. Consumer watchdog Tarion condemned 3 homes in a housing development endorsed by celebrity Mike Holmes. So, for those of you who know who Mike Holmes is, that's great. For some of you that may not know or may not know him back when he first started, he was a celebrity TV personality, contractor that went in and fixed other contractors' mistakes. Contractors that would go in and just do it all wrong, and he would fix it and make it right, is his saying. So yeah, we used to watch him on cable when people used to watch cable TV, and we watch him weekly, I think it was. And he was a good guy, right? He goes in and he'd say, "Look, do it right the first time. This should never have been done like this. We're going to make it right, or I'm going to make it right." And he would fix the problem and point out all the other problems that happened with the previous contractor, kind of calling people out. Well, he wasn't he was calling people out, not by name, but he was calling out the contractors to say what a terrible job they did. Was he the best contractor in Canada or Ontario? Probably not, but he was a good contractor by the sounds of things. But anyway, he had moved on and expanded his empire. And of course, now we're left with this situation. But I'm going to tell you what the media has reported and what he responded and so on. So let's check this out here. In May 2023, this house in Terraced Wood housing project was demolished. Consumer watchdog Tarion alleged the house had been built with defects and that demolition was a more reasonable option than repair. And this article is from January 29th this year. So many of you know that there's Holmes approved homes, meaning that Mike Holmes puts his name on these things. They're supposed to be built above quality standards and all the rest of it. But just having his name on it would be peace of mind that this house is going to be done right the first time, like it should be done. And here is one of the ads or billboards for this development. And at the top there it says Third Line Homes, approved homes are built with innovation, integrity, and a commitment to make it right, Holmes said in a promotional YouTube video. And there's even some quotes on here. Very proud to have bought the first house. I love it. Mike Holmes. So I guess he even bought one of these homes. And that's a good point to remember as we read on through this article. So right now there's an $8 million lawsuit. It hasn't been settled. It's pending. It's going through the courts. In its lawsuit, Tarion alleges the 14 terracewood houses that were built with flaws such as improperly installed roofs, water leakage, and major structural issues that raise serious safety concerns. Tarion alleges the builder, Third Line Homes, failed to fix the defects, so Tarion has been paying for all the repairs. The lawsuit targets more than a dozen parties associated with the project, including principals with Third Line Homes, the municipality of Meaford, which inspected the houses, and the Holmes Group, Mike Holmes' company. The parties deny any wrongdoing in their statements of defense. One word about municipalities. I have personally seen homes, newer homes, that should have never passed final inspection by municipalities that were approved, whether it was plumbing, electrical, and whatnot. They were obviously not inspected properly or not at all, and it was clearly evident in the final workmanship. And these were occupied homes. So municipalities, there has been a lot of neglect and negligence, in my opinion, from these. And I've seen them in multiple municipalities in my region alone. So don't think that a municipality inspects the house, everything is good. It's not always the case. CBC also found land registry documents showing one of Holmes' companies provided Third Line Homes with a total of $390,000 in private mortgages to help it buy land for the development. So yeah, so we have private mortgages from the Holmes company or one of Holmes' companies. We have him supposedly buying the first home in there. So a lot of these things are kind of adding up that he wasn't absent from this whole project. He wasn't just like a name that was stamped on there. There was more involvement than him just providing his name. It seems like anyway, but I guess the courts will figure that out. So my experience with these Homes approved homes are is limited, but I do know in my area there's a well-known builder. It's a big builder, and their quality is subpar. You don't go into these homes bragging about how well they were built. They were actually very poorly built. And I remember after about 2 to 3 years of them producing these homes, and we would joke about these homes as local realtors and how poor they were, and you'd never want to buy a home over there and whatnot. Lots of investors actually bought these homes. But regardless, I see the Mike Holmes approved homes on it. And it was the first time I had ever seen this. And right there, I said, look, this guy's putting his name on these homes. And I asked somebody that worked for the builder, I said, how does this work? How does this guy put his name on them? And he said, well, they have a corporate deal with him and whatnot. He didn't really know the details, but his name was on these homes. And I said, like, this is ridiculous. Like, these homes are the worst built homes in the region, and this guy's putting his name on them. Like, he's crazy. But it seems some people or many people will do anything for the almighty dollar. And this could have been the case, not saying it was, but these were definitely not the homes you want to put your name on. Now, that didn't last too long. I probably only saw his name on them for about a year. It's been years since this happened. So, of course, either they couldn't live up to his standards or he removed his name from them. I don't know how that ended, but he's not on them anymore. So, kudos to you for that. Of course, I'm not here to badmouth Mike Holmes. I really did enjoy watching his shows when I was younger, and he did a good job, and I think he's a good person. I don't know that he is, but I think he is. He seemed like it on the TV shows anyway. But let's see what he had to say. He did respond to this article. Mike Holmes responds to CBC News story on demolished Holmes approved homes. Celebrity contractor says his company had no access to the houses during construction. So here's his actual reply. And I believe this was originally on Facebook, but again, this is reported by the CBC here. You can get all these articles in the description if you want to read them in full. To be clear, my company was not given access to any of the homes in this matter during the construction of these homes because no homes in this matter were registered for our inspection services. We do not deny we advertised our inspection services along with recommended material upgrades for the homes. However, no homes were registered or took up our services, and better building materials are not the issue. If we are not contacted and given access to construction or construction information, we are unable to assist in verifying or identifying problems with any installations. I ask that not everyone rush to judgment based on what was said in the media. We provided complete statements to the media, only some of which were used, and even those were taken out of context and without disclosing the complete history. I like that, calling out the media there, Mike. Good tactic. And at the end, he goes on to say, we appreciate the support of those who know us better than what is being publicly portrayed and will not be deterred in our mission to help homeowners make it right. So, of course, he's still committed to his brand, obviously. He talks about to help homeowners, but help these homeowners or just help homeowners in general. Anyway, I'm sure that was a legally crafted response, but we'll see what comes of this. Lastly, before I finish on this topic, I just want to look at his website and kind of what he promises on these Homes approved homes. Mike's program to give homebuyers a home that's built right the first time, a house built with trust, integrity, and commitment to make it right. Well, it seems like there's some housekeeping needed in the Homes approved homes department because these were not built right the first time. So it'll be interesting to hear what happens with this. And this is the inspections he's talking about, the Canada inspections here. A Homes approved home undergoes a series of home inspections, including on-site field reviews by approved Mike Holmes inspectors, which serves as thorough, transparent record of the quality and value that exists behind the walls. The Mike Holmes inspections team provides unbiased third-party inspections at critical stages of construction. Every home is inspected a minimum of 3 times through various stages of construction. So there you have it. It's, again, not Mike Holmes inspecting the home. He went from being this TV personality fixing bad contractors' work to being potentially the problem himself. I know he didn't build the home, but his name is on it. He's branded it. He's making money off of this, and the quality is less than subpar. They actually have to tear the house down. So let me know what you think in the comments. Have you had any personal experience with these approved homes? And if so, how was the quality or the experience? Yeah, let me know in the comments what you think about that. I'm sure you've come across them. But all in all, I think that Mike Holmes now is the one that needs to make things right with his image and with this branding that he's putting out there, because it's obviously not living up to the standards that he would want it to. Okay, now on to the data and the numbers from February from across the country. We have first starting off here, month over month price change from January to February 2024. And you can see here almost every place, besides a few, the ones that are below, they dropped in value actually from January to February, are Brantford. They're down 8.5%. Grey Bruce Owen Sound, they're down 4%. Southern Georgian Bay down 2.4%. Kitchener Waterloo down 2.2% month over month. Then you have Fraser Valley is flat. Niagara region, where I'm from, is flat. And then you have a bunch there in that 1 to 4% range, ranging from all sorts of different places. You can read them in there. Calgary's in there, Guelph, Ottawa, Durham region. So just your normal monthly or spring monthly inclines or increases in prices there. Till you get down to some of the other places here. We have Chilliwack and District up 6.4% month over month. Saskatchewan up 7.7% month over month. Windsor, Essex up almost 8% month over month. York region up almost 10% month over month. Halton region, I did break down Halton, or I did put Halton into its own section because I'm going to take it from the TREB data now. Before I had it as Oakville and Milton board, but now it includes Burlington and Halton Hills. So the 4 areas in there now to give it a more complete representation. Anyway, they are up 11.3% month over month. Toronto up 12.3% month over month, and the Lakelands, Muskoka area up 16.5% month over month. Now, they had a big jump because, of course, they're cottage country, so a lot more people are buying cottages, especially in February now when the weather's been so mild. So, of course, they have big jumps in the spring. But I do want to focus on Toronto for a second, that 12.3% month over month. Let's just put that into context so you don't think the sky's falling out there in Toronto and we're going to reach all-time high. We might reach all-time highs, but let me explain why. So Toronto sees some very big increases historically, especially in the last few years from January to February. So in 2022, there was a 13.6% increase, so larger than the one we have now. Last year from January to February, there was a 11.9, so just under the increase, very similar to the increase we have now. So it's very normal for Toronto to have these big jumps from January to February, not an odd thing by any means. Next, moving on to the percent change from the peak. How much have places gone up or down since the peak, which in most places is February 2022, but there are some places that peaked last year and even this year. As you saw, the Lakelands, Muskoka area, they had the biggest increase month over month, but they are down the most from the peak. They're down 31.8%, followed by Southern Georgian Bay down almost 30%, Brantford down 28%, Cambridge down just under 20 or just over 27%, Woodstock, Ingersoll down 25.8%. Going down the region, a lot of these places, all these big losses actually are in Ontario. Niagara region, where I'm from, down 23%. Peel, down 23%. Fraser Valley, the first one from outside of Ontario, down 21.5%. Guelph, down 21.5% from the peak. Kingston and area, 21% or so. Hamilton, Burlington, down 20%. Same with Windsor, Essex. Halton, down 17%. Interior BC, Okanagan Valley, down 16.2%. York down just under 15%. Ottawa down 14% from the peak. Victoria just under 13%. Nova Scotia down 9% from the peak. Toronto only 5% from the peak. They're almost at their all-time high. Again, not unusual. They almost hit it last year also around this time. Montreal down 5% from the peak. Greater Vancouver down 4% from the peak. Saskatchewan down 3.5% from the peak. Edmonton down only 3.5 or 3.3% from the peak. New Brunswick 3.1. Province of Quebec 3% from the peak. Newfoundland and Labrador, they are flat. They reached their all-time high in February, so they are going into positive territory soon. We'll see in March what happens. And Calgary reached yet another all-time high, up by 2.5% over their previous all-time high, which was, I think, was last month, if my memory serves me correct. Now looking at the dollar change from the peak, let's put that into the actual numbers, the dollars and cents here. Lakelands, the Muskoka area leads the way again there, 340,000. Still lots of places over the $300,000 mark. Southern Georgian Bay, 332. Durham region down 310. Peel down 309. And then you get into all the 200,000s, lots of them in there, ranging from Kingston all the way up, Niagara region, London, St. Thomas, Hamilton, Burlington, York, Woodstock, Ingersoll, Guelph, Kitchener, Waterloo, Berrien District, Brantford, Halton. These are big losses, $200,000 to $300,000 here from the peak in these areas, and we're not done yet. Ottawa down 106,000 from the peak. Toronto down 62,000 from the peak. Greater Vancouver only 52,000 from the peak, which is nothing. Nova Scotia 42,000 from the peak. Montreal down 30,000 from the peak. Province of Quebec only 15,000 as a whole. Saskatchewan only 11,000 off their all-time high. All the way down the list until you get to Newfoundland and Labrador, they are even with their all-time high as previously stated. And Calgary, they're up 14,000 from their all-time high. Now, last year we did almost hit a lot of these all-time highs from these areas also, so this is not unusual for the spring market. We'll see how it fares for the rest of the year, obviously. Now, looking at the market balance, the sales to new listings ratio. This one kind of really caught my attention because you figure with all these price increases, it's going to be a seller's market in most places, but that's not the case. Most places are in balanced markets. Buyer's market still in the interior BC, in the Okanagan, and at the other end of the scale there, Calgary is in an overheated seller's market. Also joining the seller's markets, Edmonton, Woodstock, Ingersoll, Nova Scotia, Saskatchewan, New Brunswick, Cambridge, and Guelph. The rest of the country is in a balanced market. Now, I did take a sneak peek at a lot of places in Ontario, and we are trending more towards the buyer's market. So those ratios are going to be getting lower, meaning it is trending more towards the buyer's market. Lots of listings coming online right now in Ontario, especially. I obviously don't have weekly data for other provinces in Canada, but like I said, Ontario is seeing a lot of listings. That ratio, I just did a quick one the other day and it was like 35%. It was a buyer's ratio from what I saw. But again, we will see at the end of the month where that lands, but it won't look like this. There'll be more places in that balanced market and more places in the buyer's market too. So, okay, that's it for this week. Have yourselves a very good and happy St. Patrick's Day this weekend. And until next week, I'll see you then.